What's going on, guys? We have a branded Chimera deck profile for y'all today, and this deck's really fun overall. It's just a fun deck, but it has a lot of potential in the upcoming meta. Even now, if this deck goes uninterrupted, the ceiling is very high for it. The problem with this deck is it lacks extenders in the traditional sense of the word, similar to a deck like Flew on the Rees, where you may not brick, but you may not have any gas, to keep going if you get to a little bit of a stop. But overall, the deck's really fun. It's awesome. Let me show you the deck. So this is a 41 card deck, and you'll see why. And I'm thinking about bumping it to 42, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But first things first, we're going to have 3 Mirror Swords Knight. This is like your best starter in the game. And then 3 Cornfield Codal, your second best starter in the game. It searches this or Mirror Swords Knight. So then you have 3 Gazelle, another great starter in the game, but it depends on having another card a lot of times. Big Wing Baphomet. This is basically you're trying to get to this with all of these cards pretty much, except for this one. Then you're going to play the one of Tau the Enchanter, basically a monster reborn, and if there is an extender, this is it basically. House of the Wax. This is basically a hand trap, and it's also just good to protect you in the battle phase, things like that. We're playing the 1 Hex Sealed Fusion for our Dragoon, because we kind of want to make Dragoon if we have access to the branded fusion line. Fallen of Albaz at 2. You're definitely going to want to, because in the grind game especially, and it's just better to not have to go into Lubellion, and discard a card if you don't have to. So and it, like I said, it just helps in the grind game, and it's not a terrible draw going second. We're going to be playing 2 Droll, 2 Valor, 2 Ash, 1 Nib, 3 Imperm. So this is our hand trap lineup, and of course we're playing cross out. Let me just go ahead and spoil that. We're playing 2 cross out, 1 called by. But I do believe it's probably better to play 3 of these, 3 cross out and 1 called by, because you're already going over 40 and 42, 41. It's not that much difference in your ratios. So that's it for our hand traps. The deck really can't fit any more hand traps unless you make some cuts to some of the stuff I'm about to show you, but I don't think you want to. So we're playing 3 Chimera Fusion. A lot of people play just 1. Just 2. And I don't like that. I think that there's a lot of hands that are fixed by this card alone. So 3 Branded Fusion. Great card. Self-explanatory. 3 Talents. So you technically could cut this one if you wanted to cut anything down to make this down to 40. But the whole gimmick of this deck kind of is to rip your opponent's hand and put them on low resources. So because one of the fusion monsters rips their hand, and then if they do hand trap you, you punish them by taking another card out. It's just pretty interesting. And then 3 Super Poly. This card in this deck is super good because number 1, you can chain block, not necessarily chain block, but you can protect against Imperm, Valor, certain targeting negations. It's just a really good card overall. All right, that's it for the main deck, guys. The funny part is I made this video already, and I forgot I had a different mic on, so it was really echoey, and I had to remake the whole video. So, for our extra deck, so we're going to be playing 1 Magnum the Reliever. A lot of people aren't playing this card, but once you really figure out what it does, it's so good. It's good for recycling your fusion stuff in the grave. It's basically you can draw 1 card by putting a polymerization or a fusion spell on the bottom of the deck. So, and then it also has another quick effect to destroy a card on the field. It's just cool. Renbrum, this is kind of mandatory, and it's also a card that you can get off branded fusion. Fallen of Albaz, 1 Wing Beast. We're playing all of that here. Beast Warrior, blah, blah, blah. Super Poly target. It's just a lot of things. And it's a negate for any extra deck monster, and you can return a card to hand. Lubellion, there's times I've wanted to cut this. I just don't know what I would play. Maybe Typhon. You know what that does. Guardian Chimera. We are playing 2 Guardian Chimera because this comes up in grind games. This is a mid-rangey deck. So, you're not winning. You can OTK in this deck. Don't get me wrong, and it happens a lot. But this deck is a mid-range deck, so therefore you have to be prepared for that. Dragoon. It's just a hard monster to out, and they have to spend a lot of resources to out it. Mirror Jade, just a really good boss monster. Albion, Mandatory, Dracostapelia, another kind of mandatory in this deck. It's a boss monster. You can get to it so many different ways at so many different times. Okay, now for our actual Chimera stuff, we have one of the Baphomet fusion, and basically this card dumps a card. Typically, it's how you fix your graveyard and things like that. Also, it has the same protections when the illusion monsters are in the grave. We're going to be playing 2 of the Chimera Phantom Beast. This is what rips the card. Also has a graveyard effect. Basically, these 2 recycle each other or other cards that are Beast, Fiend, Illusion in the graveyard. And then one of the big Baphomet fusion. This guy is awesome. This is how you OTK. He can get over big, large attack monsters. He's just great. And then we're gonna play our Super Poly targets, Garura and Mud Dragon. Of course, these are mandatory. I mean, you have to play your Super Poly targets, or it's stupid to play Super Poly. Plus, they come up to prevent like Imperm, Valor, things like that. If you Super Poly their board, then call Dark, Light, whatever you don't need to get hit, it can help keep your plays going. So, anyways, it can be used defensively or offensively. And anyways, guys, that's it for the branded Chimera deck. If you're looking for a fun deck to play, this is definitely one that should be on the list because it is exactly that. It's a very fun deck. Like I said, don't expect to top a regional with it or anything like that. However, somebody literally just won a regional with one not too long ago. They were actually playing like a 60 card pile version. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just out of the realm of likely. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.